it's very common in the nofap space for guys to not admit that they believe that they need porn to be happy. So I know I believed this when I was in my porn phase, right? When I was a heavy PMO user. Pretty much, you kind of hate porn because of the negatives it has. And because of this hate that you have for it, because of the consequences and because of the shame and the disgust, and you just fucking hate yourself, that clouds the belief that you actually believe you need it to be happy. Here's the thing, right? If you didn't believe strongly that porn gave you massive value, you wouldn't do it. The fact that you're doing it is evidence enough to suggest that you see something in it, something strong that you are going after. It's not compelling you. It's not controlling you. You see it, you believe it, and you want it. And this is really hard for people to admit, and it's quite like embarrassing and quite shameful to admit. But honestly, without identifying a problem, how can you solve it? If you have a car, right, and you don't know what the fuck's going on, you know the car isn't running and there's a problem. If you can't identify the problem, if you don't know which part of the car the problem is in, how on earth can you solve it? You're just going to be trying to fuck around with loads of stuff and you're just going to be spinning your wheels. What you need to do is admit yourself, honestly, brutally honestly, do I actually believe, even though I may think it may be false, do I emotionally believe, hang on, I do kind of believe I need to have porn in my life in order for my life to be good. If you can admit that to yourself, you can then work on solving it. If you can't admit that to yourself, and I'm not saying you do have this belief, I'm not saying you have this belief, I'm not trying to gaslight you or anything. What I'm saying is if you do have this belief, but you're jumping to, oh, but I hate porn because it's fucking up my life. That's problematic because now you're not looking at the problem. You can't see the problem. This is contrary to a lot of nofap advice. A lot of nofap advice would say focus on the consequences, focus on how porn's fucking your life up, focus on how it's not really that great, and just focus. Like, no, focus on why you like it and then debunk that reason. Don't think of consequences. Don't immediately lurch for consequences. Because here's the thing, right? Just because you hate porn afterwards, after you PMO, doesn't mean you didn't. That doesn't take away from the fact that you really wanted to do it before. That's what we should be targeting. We shouldn't be looking back with hindsight of why did I do that? There is a reason why you did it. Debunk that reason. Don't look back and say, oh, I wish I didn't do that. In the freedom model, they use the example of driving a car fast. Just because you crash your car doesn't... Say you're driving really fast, right? Just because you crash the car doesn't mean that you didn't really enjoy driving fast. Right? So if you don't want to crash your car again, you need to kind of think, okay, driving fast isn't really that fun. Like, let's just not drive fast. Right? That's what you should do. You shouldn't think, like, after the fact, like, oh, I hate driving fast because I crash. It's like, well, you do like it. It's like with porn, like, you do like it, otherwise you wouldn't do it. You've got to admit that to yourself, and people think, oh, that's going to make the addiction stronger. There's no addiction. And the thing is, right, let me tell you this way, right? If working on consequences worked, if focusing on consequences worked, then you'd have quit. You haven't quit. You're finding it hard. Fair enough. I was there, right? I found it hard for years. And I was incredibly disciplined with other stuff. Like, I would have cold showers every day for 2.5 years. Every day I tracked it every single day. I'd be doing the gym. I'd be doing cold approach during the daytime on my own. I was doing insane shit. And I thought, well, I'm clearly an individual with insane willpower. I was studying hard. And yet I couldn't stop this PMO thing. It was driving me nuts. The truth is, it wasn't about willpower at all. It was about me seeing massive value in it. I just saw massive value in it. Me going to the gym was because I saw massive value in the gym. Me PMOing was because I saw massive value in PMO. It's not about willpower. It's what do you perceive there to be value in. And if you're focusing on consequences, good fucking luck trying to quit because of that. Why would you do something if you saw no value in it? You wouldn't. Addiction doesn't exist. Fuck addiction as a concept. Dopamine, fuck that. That's not what your problem is. Your problem is the value you see in it. And stop looking at those consequences. Look at those positives that you see in PMO and question those. And then you'll find, maybe it's not so true. And then your motivation towards it will go down. That's the truth. Freedom model, link in description. Bomb.